Hey, everybody. We're going to talk about Ye. Kanye West legally changed his name to Ye. So, we're going to talk about everything that's going on with Ye because it's never boring with Ye, right? But I think this time he may have gotten himself into some real trouble. Everything from allegations of sexual harassment to copyright infringement. And that's what content creators should stick around for because the copyright infringement that that could matter to you as a content creator. Let me see so I can bring up my chat. I think I can see the private chat. This is something that I thought I had down pat. So, Kanye, if you all didn't know, Kanye lost his contract with Adidas. And Kanye's contract with Adidas accounted for, I read, 1.5 billion of content of Kanye's net worth. So I think that Kanye is having a fit. That's what I think. I think, hey, I see you guys. Anyway, I think Kanye is having a fit because, according to Forbes, Kanye is a billionaire, no more. But if you wanna fight for Kanye, I'd think twice. Kanye is still worth $400 million. So him saying I'm regular and flying economy with his wife, that's just that's just Kanye having a fit. How you doing, legend? How you doing, brother of a certain age? It's good to see you. Good to see you, me and mine. So Kanye loses Adidas. And when Kanye was with Adidas, I want you to think about it. With the talent that Kanye has, he has always had a lot of ego. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. The brother has a lot of talent. But this is what Kanye said when he was with Adidas. Quote, I can say anti Semitic ish and Adidas cannot drop me. End quote. So, regardless as to where you stand on Kanye's comments, excuse me, Ye's comments, whether they're anti Semitic or not, ask yourself if it was worth losing $1.5 billion of your net worth. Because the legend said he would be a bit crazy. I probably would have been good with the 400 million. I'm good. But I don't think that I would have been talking about Adolf Hitler in a loving manner. That's a quote. That's a quote. So Kanye made that statement on the Drink Champs podcast. And you know, Kanye, listen, he had a lot to have an ego about. Adidas got up to 8% of his sales from Kanye's projects. Not his projects, but his clothing line. I always thought the clothes looked a little weird. But I think that Kanye got so ticked off that he stopped paying his bills. And Kanye's houses are in disrepair. Kanye's houses are in really bad disrepair. Now, Kanye may say he regular. But my house, thank goodness, does not have a hole in the roof. Let me show y'all one of Kanye's. This is an ocean front property. That's an ocean front property. That's an ocean front property. He's got another property, another mansion that is in disrepair, looks just as bad. Next to it is, I think I read, a $4 million lot, $4.4 million. I don't know how long it's going to be worth $4.4 million with Kanye's property looking like that next to it. So Kanye and his wife, they're living in an apartment. And I saw an article that quoted his daughter North crying about her dad living in an apartment. I'm sure that I'm sure the apartment isn't crap, right? So the Malibu home, like I said, Kanye, I think he just had a fit. He stopped paying his bills. And so the Malibu property, it's up for sale for 53 million. But a former caretaker is suing Kanye for unpaid wages. And that's repetitive because Kanye now has multiple lawsuits for unpaid wages. And the caretaker filed a lien on a property. Well, the construction company, there's a mechanics lien on one of Kanye's properties because the construction company, Kanye wanted the mansion gutted, blah, blah, blah. He showed the house off, in a magazine, all of that. He didn't pay the contract. And the contractor's lien is on the same West Malibu mansion. Now let's get to the tea. Let's get to some real tea. Kanye has a former employee, and her name is Lauren Pisciata. And Lauren Pisciata, she's a former OnlyFans and IG model. Don't judge some of you, right? But because I heard that, I read somewhere that she's also worked in the music industry for 15 years. So I don't assume that it was explicit or any of that just because she was working, just because she was on OnlyFans. And IG can get a little, mm, IG can get a little risque too. Okay, suddenly I can't see my chat again. Oh, that makes sense. So Yeezy does legend have real issues besides losing money. We can't forget that. How you doing, Black Money Corp? Thanks for stopping by. We can't forget that Yeezy is bipolar, and the last time I checked, he refuses to take his medication. And Yeezy feels as though the medication, really, that doctors are trying to poison him. So you can blame that on the bipolar. You can also blame that on a lot of history in the United States with Black men in medicine. And I wouldn't doubt that bipolar meds might mess with his creativity. But let's talk about, right, Lauren Pisciotti. Now, she was fired in 2022, and she said that she worked for Kanye from July 2021 to October 2022, and that she was promised a salary of $4 million, and that she was to work on Yeezy's women's line, his women's clothing line. And it's various brands. And she said she was also supposed to work on the Donda album. Well, Pisciata, right, has filed a lawsuit against Yeezy alleging sexual harassment. She said not only did she get lewd text messages, that she got, that he would perform sexual acts on himself on the phone with her. And so those are the allegations. She's suing for $3 million. So she's 35, she's around 35 years old, and she's suing for 3 million. And she said when she took the job that Yeezy said that one of the conditions, Ye said that one of the conditions is that she be available to him 24/7. With a promise of a salary like 24 million, I just I still would have been suspicious of be there for me 24/7, right? So she said that she was fired. This is according to the Guardian. After she was promised a promotion, to Ye's chief of staff at a salary of $4 million. And she said that her multi-million-dollar severance package that she was supposed to get if she was fired, she did never get the severance package. And I wanted to get to the text messages. So she said that Ye told her a year after hiring her that he wanted her to be, quote, godlike. And he offered her $1 million to delete her OnlyFans account. Delete, delete. If she got those text messages and they get authenticated, a brother of a certain age, he is still worth $400 million. And Lauren is only asking for three. So then, according to the lawsuit that she filed, he allegedly masturbated in front of her on a flight to Paris, trapped on an airplane. And according to her lawsuit, he has pulled out his Johnson and oh Lord. And he allegedly, listen to this. He allegedly wrote to her, see, my problem is, this is a quote. See, my problem is I be wanting to FUCK. But then after I FUCK, I want a girl to tell me how hard they've been FUCKED while I FUCKING them. I didn't know a better way to do that. I could have just went with effing them. He wants a girl, he the quote, he be wanting to, and after he be wanting the girl. Breeze, it's getting hot in here, Breeze. Now, if she can prove this, like a brother of a certain age said, so listen, Lauren Pisciotta, she also claims that Ye instructed her to deliver him a sexual enhancement, honey, before his sexual encounters. Do y'all know what honey is? I don't know what honey is. I'm scared to Google it. And she claims in the lawsuit that Ye was fixated on the penis size. The quote says the penis size, not his penis size. Oh, he was fixated on the penis size of one of her boyfriends and sent videos of himself doing having intercourse with a model. I wonder if this model knows she was in this alleged video that was allegedly sent. Well, I know honeybees make honey, me and mines, but I don't think that's what this. Well, I get what you say. Okay, the honey is like a right. Okay, the birds and the bees, the honey is like a liquid Viagra. Oh, but this is my thing. Y'all. She wasn't hired for this. She wasn't hired for this. She was supposed to work on the Donda album, and she was supposed to work on the women's clothing line. And she's bringing him honey. But see, you don't need me available 24/7 to work on a clothing line. When he paid her the $1 million to delete the OnlyFans, I would have quit. I would have quit. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know, Breeze. I don't know. According to this lawsuit, it's these are all allegations. She has to prove it. She has to prove it. Now, he lost his contract with Adidas, like we talked about in 2022. And y'all know Ye was showing out. He had White Lives Matter t-shirts, and he was, you know, on this anti-Semitic tirade, talking about something about taking out a bunch of Jews. That's a loose quote. Well, no matter what you think, right? It's bad for business. And Adidas said our business in North America just took a huge hit. Now you're talking about taking out any type of people that's anti those people. I'll leave that at that. But they knew Ye wasn't medicated. They knew Ye what is not. They know he's not medicated. So after listen, the text message right where he said he be wanting the F, and then he want the girl to tell him how hard he effed them, and he want them to say that while he's effing them. He said, then I want her to cheat on me. End quote. Y'all think Black Money Court that honey's supposed to be a game changer? You know how old is he? He works a lot. Maybe that's why he need a little enhancement. But she said he's focused on other men's, penis size. So, Ye must feel like, hey, that's more, the bigger you are, the more of a man you are. When you worth $400 million, a woman really don't care about the size. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. So, okay, I told y'all this Pisciata lawsuit. It it threw me back. It threw me back, me and mine. So West have referred to a full-on porn addiction, according to Pisciata's lawsuit. They have clinics for that. They have clinics for that. And, Ye told her allegedly that addiction ruined his family. And, that it, and he said, according to the lawsuit, Breeze, according to the lawsuit, Ye told her that he's already been accused of lewd behavior. And that's what it is when you whip out your member, your Johnson, and decide that whipping it out is bad enough. I'm gonna move on. All right. So former employees of the Yeezy fashion line told Rolling Stone that y'all they said that Ye was playing porno movies during the staff meetings. Is that a staff meeting if they playing porno movies? Ye strikes me as someone who fantasizes about himself. I do think that he's in love with himself and he's angry with himself all at the same time. Pocket size matters, me and mine. Listen, women want a provider, right? And listen, it's hard out here for single women. I'm glad I'm not looking. I'm glad I'm not looking. What you say, Black Money Court? You beg to differ. You done seen some leave a stable for a broke stovepipe a few times. You know what? Let me tell you what. There's a lady on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's living in a mansion with her husband, and she got pregnant by the pool boy. So I'm not gonna say that size does not matter, right? I'm not gonna say size doesn't matter, but it is not a staff meeting a brother of a certain age. Listen, Breeze, this is all alleged. The lawsuits, right? The filing itself can be found. Now, I see that Rolling Stone does not like Ye. I can see Rolling Stone does not like Ye. But what Lauren alleges in the lawsuit, bless you, Lauren, if this is true, bless you, Lauren. Then what she alleges, right? Then that's just what's in the lawsuit. What you say, a staph infection. Oh, brother of a certain age, I'm just getting it staph. Y'all stop it. Stop it. So listen, at this point in time, I'm on the Guardian right now, too. This is the Guardian's article. And, the Guardian, said they reached out to West attorneys. His attorneys, have not responded. But I did see in a different article where Ye's attorney said that Lauren Pisciata's allegations are baseless. Baseless. So I don't know what y'all think, but with other employees saying he played porn movies, I'm suing. I'm suing. And I'm gonna listen. Lauren Pisciata is also right. She's not just suing him for the $3 million, saying she didn't get her severance package. She's also suing him for emotional distress. She's suing him for sexual harassment and fraud. Fraud. So Ye has a lot of issues. A lot of issues. And I'm going to tell you something. Right? Sometimes it's just better to settle something. You don't want to invite false accusations like this. And what Lauren Pisciata is alleging, if it were me and that's untrue, I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it. But you've got other employees that work for the Yeezy line talking about he called a staff meeting. See, you can have a porn addiction, but you don't have to involve other people. How you doing, everybody? Hey, it's R&T. So, R&T, you all content creators, you all, may want to stick around for this, right? So, besides the fact, y'all know that Ye had the school Donda, the Donda school. So, former employees are suing him there too. Now, he allegedly he spent $2 million earmarked for the school on a luxury trip to Paris, you know. And according to Trevor Phillips, a former employee at the school, he said he was subjected to discrimination and harassment, and other employees have stepped up and said that right in front of the children, Ye said, I only date white women, and went into some tangent about that he told two school kids. This is what's in the lawsuit. He told two of the school kids, right, that you know he could shave their heads, and he's gonna put a jail in the school, and they could be put in cages. Y'all, if this is true, Kanye, I'm gonna blame the lack of medication. What's that, legend? Stop this about Amber Rose. I read that Ye said Kim made him take 100 showers, right? Before she would get with him after he was with Amber Rose. I didn't know that those type of rumors were out about Amber Rose, or is Ye just throwing salt at her? I always liked what little bit I knew about Amber Rose. But okay, so y'all, taking money from the school allegedly and spending it on a luxury trip to Paris, and telling the kids that he gonna, put a jail in the school and shave their heads and lock them up, and saying anti-Semitic remarks. And they said teaching allegedly anti-Semitism to the children, and that they would just hurry up and usher the children out of the room, right? So think about it, right? What they're alleging: shave heads, locked up, right? I'm not getting into that with you, legend. So that's what former staff are alleging. And they're also alleging, like Lauren Pisciata, that, when they complained about Kanye doing things that allegedly violated health and safety procedures, educational codes, that he fired them. He fired them. Not only that, y'all, get this. According to the lawsuit, he fired anybody he deemed fat. FAT, not PHAT, pretty hot and tempting. Fat, overweight. I don't want to look at you. Isn't that something? So this is all alleged. This is all alleged. And that's in a lawsuit from teachers from the school. So we got Lauren Pisciata. We've got the Donda teachers. We've got the misuse of school funds. Y'all, Donna Summers estate filed a lawsuit recently, and just accused Kanye of, quote, blatant theft. He tried to license part of her song, could not get the license, and used it anyway. And her husband, who is my guest over her estate, it's the estate of Donna Summers. Y'all know Donna Summers, right? Was very, very popular, you know, and so they're suing him as well. And they said that, listen, he looped it, that he didn't even try, right, to transform it, to hide it, none of that, that it is just a blatant love. And her husband said, quote, I intend to protect Donna's copyright. And he said this is literally stealing money from Donna's three children. And since I'm talking about copyright, Okay. Y'all, we got to pass the on, yeah. Okay. Now, this is a pastor out of Texas, David Paul Moten. Okay. And David Paul Moten says that Kanye's song in Donda, Come to Life, has 70 seconds of one of his sermons in it, and that Kanye had no permission to use it, and that because the song is 5 minutes and 5 minutes and 10 seconds long, the pastor said that his sermon is over 20% of that song, and he filed suit in federal court May 3rd. Okay. Now, legend, what do you know about Pastor David Paul Moten? I haven't read anything about about this pastor being on OnlyFans. And OnlyFans was not created as an adult website. People, I'm sure, go there for other things. Yes, me and mine's a pastor. And the pastor said that, yay, willfully and egregiously, right? Yeah, that's what he accused. Sampled sound recordings of others without consent, and that this is, quote, an alarming pattern. Kanye is running around here doing what he wants when he wants. That's what Pastor Moten is saying. And I know a few pastors, and the pastors that I know, they are about their business. Listen to this. Donda got over 60 million views in the United States alone on Apple Music in the first 24 hours. And that pastor said he got part of my speech in there. Now, that broke a 2021 record. And even though, right, Kanye was, suspended from going to the Grammys. He won another Grammy. He's got like 24 Grammys. What do you do with this guy in the music industry? Said, brother, was certain, do I think it was a money grab or he doesn't want to be? I haven't met Pastor Moten, but I think Pastor Moten wants to be paid because I'm going to tell you why. Pastor Moten, right? He's about his business. Let me try to show y'all something real quick, right? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? I'm going to show it again. And what that is, that's where Pastor Moten went down to the copyright office and he registered his sermons. And if you enlarge it, you will see the name of that sermon. You will see the exact date that that sermon was performed and where. And this is what Pastor Moten's attorneys attached to the lawsuit. Because, see, Pastor Moten first has to prove that he owns his sermons. I'm going to show you again the certificate where Pastor Moten, on his business, went down to the copyright office. Get a good look at that. See, this is the thing, right? In that lawsuit, Pastor Moten, one of the first things that you read in that lawsuit is Pastor David Moten does business in the state of Texas. You see, federal copyright law in 19, I believe, 71 or 72 said there was a lot of abuse from nonprofits and churches. And this is what can affect a content creator. This is what can affect a pastor of a small church who just wants to put the church's sermons on YouTube. I'm going to tell you from my research, 9 times out of 10, the church owns the sermon. There are some jurisdictions in federal court, where if the pastor prepared that sermon at home and he used nothing from the church, then the pastor may own the sermon. And there are other complications, right? Does the pastor own, right, the recording of the sermon? Is the pastor able to distribute it? Because when the pastor performed the sermon, the pastor was at the church and the pastor used the church. He used the church's equipment. And unless there was an agreement between the pastor and the church before before that sermon was delivered, then most likely the pastor does not own his sermon. And from my research, right, Pastor David Moten is doing what a lot of pastors are doing these days. The IRS says we are worried about abuse and we are worried that there will be some sort of excess benefit because a sermon is intellectual property. We don't care if that sermon is worth $3, $5, $10, because see, it could end up in a Ye album where suddenly it's worth a lot more. So, first, the pastor has to prove that he owns the sermon. And this can get really, really complicated. That pastor knew the view of his content. He knew the value. Black Money Corp, I agree. He knew the value. Me and Mines is asking, how does the pastor own it if the church owns it? Listen, the sermons according to the law, a sermon is intellectual property. Usually clergy get a salary, they're an employee. That's a non-brainer. Federal the federal government copyright law decided that sermons are work for hire, because what is the main thing that a church does? The main thing that a church does, you are going to hear a sermon, right? So, you know, you want to post, right? You ask your pastor, your imam, your reverend, can I get a copy of today's sermon and put it on my Facebook? Unless that church has registered and copyrighted that sermon, that church cannot distribute it to its members even for free, right? So the church has to handle its business with the Copyright Office. And if there is not an agreement between the pastor and the church before the pastor gives the sermon, right, then most likely the church owns it. It's for the church's benefit, it's in the church's building, right? And the pastor has to handle his business. There's a certain license that a pastor has to give because the IRS says we've got to separate your business from your preaching, from your soul saving. The soul saving is what's nonprofit. But once you want to get a personal benefit from an intellectual property, which is a sermon, we got some stuff to do. So the church wants to say, I'm going to give the pastor the sermon. Copyright law is complicated. There needs to be certain written forms that say very specific things. And if that church does not do that, even if it transfers that intellectual property for free or for charge, that church, if it does not do it properly, is at risk of losing its nonprofit tax status. What's that you have to pay for intellectual property taxes? Yeah, that's exactly it. Black Money Corp. Even when a church wants to put a sermon online, they want to put what's going on online. The law requires the church to have a specific broadcasting license. The hymns that we hear every Sunday in church, they're copyrighted. The Bible that you're reading out of, copyrighted. The church, from my research, the church needs to make sure that ads are not placed in front of their material, right? And if the church uploads it and all of these things aren't in place, that license is not active that day. that broadcasting license. Well, now there's a question of if the church even owns it. Is it public domain? So this is not legal advice, but this is for content creators because there are pastors out here on Instagram and YouTube, and they're driving Lamborghinis, they're drinking gold, and I can see where a content creator might want to kind of, snatch a little bit of it to add in a video, right? What's that legend? Suppose you're a guest speaker and you want to take it and for profit. Okay, it's not a work for hire. Listen, unless there was a written agreement, this written agreement needs very specific details. All of the research I did, get an attorney, get an attorney. And most of the attorneys who have spoken on it said that churches facing copyright infringement lawsuits, facing losing their 5031 status because they just gave the pastor his or her sermons, said those lawsuits continue to come in. And now a lot of churches are contacting attorneys to get this really complicated paperwork done. And most of what I read, the attorneys are telling the churches, keep it, keep it. Don't even transfer it. Because, like I said, the IRS is worried about abuse. And I find it interesting, right, that Ye sampled 70 seconds out of 5 minutes and 10 seconds. And here it is, right? This pastor sees his, you know, part of his sermon on his really expensive record. But it looks like this pastor handled his business. The church is at risk, me and mine. From everything I read, said, listen, contact an attorney. But you know what? The best thing to do, just keep the sermon. Just keep the sermon. I mean, a church loses its 5031 status because it freely transferred the intellectual property that is a sermon to the pastor, you know. But I said all of that to say this. I did want content creators, right, to be aware of these things, right? That sermons, all of that, this intellectual property, 9 times out of 10, it belongs to the church if the church did everything it was supposed to do, right? When it uploaded it. So, everybody pray for you. If prayer is your thing, and thank everybody. I thank everybody for stopping by. Thanks, Black Money Corp, for stopping by. I see you've got a very interesting live scheduled. You are right. Knight Rider, Kip is the first. I mean, what was the name of the car? That was the first AI car. I loved that show when I was a kid. Thanks to the plant lady, me and mines, for stopping by. Thanks to the legend. Thanks to a brother of a certain age. Everybody hates R&T. Everybody don't hate R&T. So, thank you all for stopping by. Ye is an idiot savant, says Black Money Corp. I think that this is a rich man's tantrum. I'm not paying my bills. I'm not paying any employee that makes me mad. None of you can't make me. I just feel like this is a rich man's tantrum. He's worth 400 million though. I think he'll figure it out. So everybody have a great day, and I'll definitely see you guys again probably later this weekend. Bye.